I don't know if many people have heard about Abdullah Öcalan, who is essentially the thinker behind this revolution. It was his ideas that inspired and motivated these people not only to believe that they could transform their own society, but also, once the threat of ISIS came, that they could also fight against ISIS in the name of direct democracy, ecology, and gender equality. And so the foundations of this movement, and the reason why I emphasize this is, sometimes we forget that, some things are not possible overnight when we're trying to make change wherever we are in the world. And I can't imagine anyone disagreeing that, obviously we don't live in a perfect world. So there's a long way for us to go everywhere we are. And so these struggles, and especially the foundations of the Rojava revolution, would not have been possible the way it would not have been possible if there weren't those foundations built. So, Abdullah Öcalan, not only was he the thinker behind this paradigm, but also spent 15 years in Syria talking to the communities and the society every day and trying to understand them. So that is potentially one of the biggest differences between what's happening in northern Syria right now and many other revolutionary instances that in history, is that it's not a vanguardist movement or a revolution that says, okay, we're here now and this is the way we want you to live. It's built in a way that it's completely embedded within its community and within its society, and therefore that's why the most ground level of society, the communes, are the where all the decisions for society get made. And so when I was there in April, I just want to speak a little bit about like our trip and kind of like go through the timeline, because each stop I feel like there's anecdotes that really display the spirit of what's happening there. So we arrived there. The purpose of the trip was mainly to do research on the alternative education system of Rojava and the alternative economy, so the cooperative economy that is being put into practice there. And so we first arrived so you land in Iraq and you cross over the border, and the first place you arrive in is what they call the Jazeera Canton. And so that's the very east of, I guess, like northern Syria, so the north east. And so that was one of the first places that this system was put into practice, and at the moment it's kind of like the de facto capital. And this is where a lot of the women's assemblies exist, the youth assemblies, and also where they have something called the Internationalist Commune of Rojava, which is where a lot of internationalists go and have the opportunity to take part in 6-week or 6-month education sessions, which then they can come back to, go back to their respective countries or respective movements and, organize with that experience. And so we spent some time there, and it was remarkable how, it's the Middle East. It's most where we were, it was mostly Kurdish people, but also a lot of Arab people that we met as well. And some of the questions before I went that people asked were, the conflicts between Arabs and Kurds, because unfortunately the region has been plagued with sectarian conflicts for way too long. And I kind of expected to see that a little bit myself, and I kind of questioned myself after when I realized that that weren't the case as to why I thought to expect that. But, I realized for thousands of years, these people lived together, more or less peacefully. And yeah, nothing is ever a fairy tale or perfect, but they were able to figure out their problems themselves. And so I realized that when a system is built on the principles of direct democracy, ecology, and gender equality and inclusiveness, like a pluralist society, that I guess that collective memory comes back to people quite easily, and they figure out how to live together in peace and share with each other as well. And I realized that, when we think that certain sectarian conflicts and certain, I guess, like issues are inevitable, that it's something that we probably need to question within ourselves as to why we think that. And so that was, I think, the first step, and what I found quite shocking, and what I found quite shocking on the first stop, that I didn't expect to see so many people getting along, really.
For more debates, talks and interviews, subscribe today to the Institute of Art and Ideas at iaitv.